while being out on the road, what we feel are some of the dangers of being out on the road. And we want to talk about some of the things that we feel that are possible dangers on the road and things to be cautious about. One of the first things that comes to my mind is, as far as dangers and things to be cautious about, is truck stops. Now, there are some that are worse than others, but you know, when you're staying at a truck stop, really anywhere you're going to be staying the night, even rest areas, things like that, you know, you want to be very cautious of your surroundings. Our owner had told us, one of the teams that drive for him, they were at a truck stop, and the man, it was a team, husband and wife, and the husband, it was in the evening, and he was in the back by the box of the truck, and he actually got robbed at gunpoint. And, you know, they ended up quitting, which I don't blame them. You know, that's scary in and of itself. And, you know, he's very lucky that nothing happened. But, you know, there's people that will come and knock on your door, even in the daytime at some truck stops. They will approach your truck, trying to sell you things, and asking some of them asking for money. You know, we had a guy today, we were in a TA in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and a gentleman came up. I mean, he was a well-dressed man, came up basically asking us for money. And you know, just because there's somebody that's well-dressed doesn't matter. You want to be very cautious with things like that. You know, don't open your door to those people. Keep your door locked. Keep your doors locked.
Even if you're just sitting up front, you know, somebody could sneak around from the side. And
yeah, just always be aware of your surroundings.
At night times, whenever we try to park at a parking truck stop, if we can, if it permits us, we'll try to park in the well-lit areas. But that's not always possible. You know, a lot of these truck stops fill up pretty quick. So if you pull into a truck stop at night, you know, keep your doors locked. You know, we've heard other people, what they'll do is they'll take a strap and put it from one door to the other door, and they'll ratchet it up so the door can't be opened. You know, take extra precautions. It's always better to have the extra precaution and, you know, to be safe rather than something to happen, you know.
Exactly.
So, you know, really watch it. Certain area truck stops, one that really comes to mind is South Dallas. The Flying J and the TA there. Oh my gosh, those are... I mean, I used to be a dispatcher in Dallas, and we used to hear about shootings of truckers, trucks getting hijacked, all kinds of different stuff down there weekly. So, you know, there's certain areas that you just want to be really cautious. Even if you're just pulling in, passing through, you know, going to get fuel, keep your doors locked until you get up to, and if your co-driver's sleeping while you're fueling and you need to go in to use the restroom or something, lock your doors behind you so your co-driver's safe, you know.
Yeah, we've had people approach us even fueling. In the middle of the day. You know, you never know. Even in rest areas are the same thing. You always hear about things happening at rest areas. You know, that's the perfect place for people. You know, there's not a lot of people around a lot of times or even paying attention. Yeah, I know some rest areas do have security. Yeah. But, I mean, you know, that's the first danger that I can think about, you know, and something to be cautious about when you're out here on the road.
So another thing you really want to be cautious out here about is, you know, bad weather. You know, it rains, snow. You know, a lot of phones will have weather alerts. There's apps out there that you can download that track you, and it knows when you're in a bad area, and it will send you an alert over your phone. But for us, we're very fortunate with Panther. I know a lot of companies are like this, but if the weather's so bad we don't feel comfortable with driving in it, we pull over. You know, we will pull over, find a safe place to park, and wait until the weather clears up. You know, no load is worth getting in an accident over, or you know, taking, you know, you dying, somebody else dying in an accident. it's just not worth it. So I know our first year, it was in a winter. We started in January or February.
End of January.
Yeah, end of January, and of course we were going right into some snow, and that was pretty scary for us, you know, first getting out here on the road. And
especially being me, I've been in Texas since '80, so I didn't really have any experience. We had ice every so often, but not snow and ice and what we were getting into.
Piles of snow.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another danger, I think, and something to be cautious with out here on the road. Another danger that we find out here on the road is animals. Not so much some of the smaller ones, but deer. There are a lot of deer certain times a year and in certain areas, and a lot of times in the evenings at dusk, they're out and about and by the roads, and they'll dart out in front of you in a second.
They'll just come running across the road.
Yeah, so
you barely have enough time to react, and
if you hit one of those head on, it could cause some major damage. Or if you're even
take your radiator out.
If you try to swerve, it's just a danger. It is something to be aware of while you're out on the road. We've hit 2 deer since we've been out here in a little over 3 years.
Both times they came bolting across the road, right across the highway. We barely even seen them out of the corner of our eye. Both times we got them in the same location. They came across, they tried to stop on the cement and started slipping and fell. I swerved. They went right under the truck, and the rear axle got them. Driver's side, rear axle got both of them.
And this was in the old truck before we got into this truck. We haven't, fingers crossed, knock on wood, but we haven't hit any deer in this truck yet. But, it's something that you need to be aware of. It's not a matter of if you will, it's when you will, because as much as you are out on the road in this job or trucking in general, we are out so much driving so many different places that it's going to happen. So something to think about. I'll tell you a quick story. The most deer that I ever have seen since we've been out here, we were going through Montana, and it was kind of like a back road through Montana, and we did our driver swap, which was like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 in the morning, which was like 1 o'clock in the morning there. And I was driving on this back road, and I kid you not, every half a mile there was a group of deer, and these were huge deer. They had humongous racks of antlers. They were just crazy, the amount of deer that I saw on that road. And it was just a 2-lane road, so in that situation, really any situation, you just need to slow down if you're seeing a lot of activity like that.
If you start seeing a lot of deer on the side of the road, slow it down 5 miles an hour. It's not going to slow you down much. It'll give you a better reaction time.
Yeah, I even seen that same night when I was seeing all those deer. I even seen there was 2 horses on the side of the road. I'm like, I don't know what these horses were doing, but yeah, they were like right on the side of the road. So you can imagine if you hit a horse.
It's more the back highways that you really got to watch out for.
But they do come across highways too. I've had to swerve and miss a couple of them.
On the interstates, but not nearly. If you're on the back roads, definitely slow it down a little bit.
Absolutely.
So another dangerous thing that you need to be cautious about, and this is probably the most obvious, is other drivers. Everybody's always in such a rush out here that they don't care if they cut you off and you have to slam on your brakes. Always be really cautious of cars coming up around you. Know how far the cars are behind you. Really use your mirrors a lot when you're driving. Even truck drivers out here nowadays, they don't care. They're trying to get as many miles in as before their clock ends, and there's a lot of dangerous stuff going on. There's a lot of dangerous drivers out here that you really got to be cautious about.
Another thing that comes to my mind, and I don't know that it's necessarily considered a danger, it's kind of more of a safety thing, but when you're at shippers and receivers and you're loading, unloading freight or getting loaded or unloaded and you're on the dock, be aware of the things around you. You know, if there's forklift drivers coming and going, you don't want to be standing right in the middle of their way, kind of stand back out of the way. There's a lot of shippers and receivers, especially at a lot of automotive places. You know, you're required to wear a safety vest. Some of them don't even let you on the dock. But
you don't know what kind of forklift training this guy might have. It might be his first day, and
if he's loading your truck, you don't want to be get out of the box of the truck. Don't be standing in the truck when they're driving a forklift in your truck.
A lot of times at places they'll have concrete pylons on each side of the doors. I'll usually stand behind those just to make sure, you know, that I'm out of the way. I'm not in anybody's way, and it's less likely for me to get hurt by getting hit by a forklift or something behind those pylon things. So look for those. They're usually painted yellow. Stand behind those. Stay out of the way. Another thing you want to be cautious about is carbon monoxide poisoning. You know, a lot of times when we pull into a truck stop, we'll try to pull in nose first. If the trucks next to us are idling, if their fumes are leaking into your truck, you know, it's a high possibility you could get some carbon monoxide poisoning buildup. If you can, pull in nose first so you're not right next to their tailpipes. Another thing we like to do is we'll crack our roof vent. If you don't have a roof vent, crack a window. You know, be extra cautious of that whenever you're parking for the night. I think the most safest thing to do is to pull the nose in first, though. Then you're all the way to the back, whereas the engines are back by your back doors, you know, so less chance of you getting carbon monoxide buildup. If you're idling your own truck, I would definitely leave a window cracked. You know, you want some fresh air to be able to come into the truck.
They do sell carbon monoxide detectors as well that you can get for your truck or cargo van. You know, if you're idling a cargo van, you have the same possibility of that happening. So there are detectors. I know the one that came in this truck, it just kind of looks almost like a little smoke detector type thing. There's some that plug in. The one we have in this truck, it's battery powered. So even if you don't have a 110 outlet, you could get a battery powered one. You know, you don't have to, it's not just when you're parking at night too that you need to be cautious of carbon monoxide. When you're driving down the road, if you got an exhaust leak, that could be coming up into the cab, you know. If you're driving and you start feeling really sleepy, crack a window, you know, get some fresh air coming in. Personally, I always drive with a window cracked just to let fresh air in. When Heather's driving, I ask her to leave one of the windows open on the passenger side to keep fresh air coming back into the sleeper, because if you have an exhaust leak, you might not smell it. You could be driving down the road, then all of a sudden pass out, you know, and not even realize it. So, you know, it's not just when you're parking. Be careful when you're driving also. You know, leave a window cracked. So those are just some of the things that come to mind when we think about some of the dangers of being out on the road. If we think of some more, we'll do another video and add to that. And we'd appreciate it if anybody else out here on the road can think of things, something that we didn't talk about that you feel are dangers or are dangers out on the road. Leave it down in the comments so other people can see that as well. So thank you all for watching and subscribing, and we will see you in our